Hey, welcome everyone. Today I'm going to show you a video from about a month and a half ago when me and my buddy Paul went up to the western edge of the Monongahela National Forest to a place called Elkins, West Virginia. Elkins has nothing to do with the video except that that's where we stayed. And we went into an area called the Laurel Fork Wilderness, and we went up Bickle Knob, which is a big mountain out there. And we had great snowstorm, plenty of weather, nice light. So I ended up with 2 or 3 nice photos from the trip, and I got to scout a really nice new area on a side of the Manongahela National Forest I hadn't been to. The Monongahela is really, really large. So if you go to one side, it's 3 hours away. You go to the other side, it's 5.5 hours away. If you go to the furthest southern point of it, it's like a 7-hour drive from my house. So it's a very, very large place. It ended up being a fantastic trip. Pulled some nice photos, got to scout some nice area. And, I grabbed a little bit of footage and threw it together here for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and we'll talk about some of the photos when we're done with that. All right, let's do it. Good morning, everyone. I am back in sunny, overcast West Virginia. It's a beautiful morning. Brought Paul up here. Well, actually, he brought me up here this time. I mean, I'm driving, but we decided to come out and shoot. We're near the National Forest in the Monongahela, where I've been shooting so much, but we decided to not go into the forest at the moment. Well, my battery died, so I don't know exactly where I was, but now the battery on the monitors died. Is that true? Oh. It's cold. Everything is dying, so I have no idea how I'm framed at this point. Anyway, I'm in beautiful West Virginia again. We decided not to go into the Monongahela today, for sunrise at least. We're going to go in at some point today, I'm sure. But we shot this beautiful mountain that's being quarried over here. It's a very West Virginia thing to quarry everything. But it's beautiful, beautiful state nonetheless. Hey, Paul.
Hey, what?
Your sunlight.
Oh, shit.
It's happening.
Really?
We've been arguing about whether the sunlight was going to happen today, so at least for sunrise. Better hurry. So anyway, I got this beautiful mountainscape here with this fantastic set of bushes in front of it. It's sort of an odd composition to some degree because I actually have the
It's freaking awesome.
Paul's talking to himself. The fence is in the foreground, going that way, and that sort of echoes against what's happening in the background. But I think it's going to work. So we'll see. We're still getting a little bit of snow. Blue sky's trying to break through. I'm hoping for no blue sky. I'm an overcast kind of guy, as we know. And that's that. We're gonna go do some more exploring. We're on this great mountain road here. Got the 4Runner in 4-wheel drive. Anyhow, so let's see. I couldn't tell you. I always like to tell you what my settings are. Let's see, it was F22 because I wanted the foreground fence and the mountain sharp. ISO 64, 1 second exposure. We're gonna go find other things to shoot.
Hey.
That's all you have to say?
No.
Okay.
Turned out to be a pretty nice day.
It did. Good sunrise. good revelation of light. How about that?
Yeah. This one has that was a complete disc, I think you're seeing through. I'm waiting for that to show up again.
Could happen. Everything Paul has said this morning has happened, and I was the negative Nancy today. I was like, nope, not going to happen. Nothing's working, and yeah, it pulled together. So that's why we do this. We stay out here. We hope it's going to happen. Flexing the photo muscle, and you know, it's worth it. So it's about what was it, 12 degrees when we came up here this morning?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't think it's much warmer now.
No, it may even be a little colder.
Might be colder because the wind has picked up.
We've been out here so long, it's sucked the heat out of it.
So I was breathing on my camera, and it's got a nice layer of ice on my camera. So, and batteries, fighting my GoPro batteries. All right, we're gonna move on and see what we can find. Paul and I drove into the Laurel Fork Wilderness, and it's about 8 degrees here. It's cold, and we found this amazing pasture land. That's National Forest land, and there's some really cool trees and things here. So I am hiking over towards that. Paul is back there shooting. He saw stuff he liked right off the bat, and mine is a little more out of reach. So I'm going. You know, when it gets this cold, you start hearing the trees pop because the sap freezes and cracks the trees. It's amazing. It's not the sound you want to hear above you, but it's kind of cool to hear, even if it is a bit destructive. So let me get up there and get set up, and we'll talk more. So, as I said, we're in the Laurel Fork area, and I've come over to, and there goes the screen again. All right, I've come over to this grouping of trees here on top of the hill, and I'm really pretty enamored with this. I love the way the sky has some blue showing through, and there are beams of light, like God light, as I call it. Many people call it that, I'm sure. Flowing through the clouds. So it's making for a really interesting composition. Now I'm just waiting for the light to get just perfect, and we'll have it. As you see, what I've done is I've done sort of what I'll call a parent-child composition. So it's the big tree with the small trees around it, and the hill bisects the image, and then of course the sunbeams coming from the left, the blue coming from the right in the last shot I did. So we'll see what comes. I'm sure the light's going to do nothing but get better. Believe it or not, I'm getting a little snowblind. And I gotta get back to the car and get some sunglasses on. I should have brought my sunglasses up here with me. It's bright. So this is where Seneca Rocks is, and that over there is where Spruce Knob is. And I'm in the Laurel Forks Wilderness at the moment, which is a pretty cool spot. I mean, it's really good. I did just shoot this tree here, but I'm not even certain that I was able to get it. So here we are. Look, these trees lined up here. It's gonna be a super basic composition of just the trees lined up in a sort of stratified manner. I don't know, it may not look good at all. It's a hurried composition, but We're going to try it and see. Well, there you go. It was a beautiful, beautiful trip. Hey, listen, I want to ask you to please subscribe. I rely on subscribers to let me know that this channel is working well. Also, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, because that will also let me know that you've enjoyed the content. And hit the notification bell, because every time I put one of these out, it will let you know then that I've done that, so you don't miss it. Anyway, I appreciate you. I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I hope to see you next time. All right, take care. Bye-bye. So I quite like this image. I think one of the reasons it really does work is because of the two foreground poles moving away from each other as they go up. I think that actually draws your eye up to the horizon where the mountain is and the hill angles down. And the only reason that hill works at that odd little angle is because it's sort of echoing the mountains above it. So you see it goes down and almost makes a check mark and pops back up on the left. Also, I think that weird little line of fences that fills in the midground, fence posts, that's kind of interesting. And it fills in that midground, but also draws your eye up again towards the mountain. I also think the dramatic clouds, which maybe a little more than was reality, did a pretty good job of lending feeling to the overall scene. Anyhow, let's move on to the next one. Oh, I really like this image. I think this image is one of the most successful of the day. The parent-child composition with the three child trees angled to make a sort of trapezoidal, almost triangle but slightly trapezoidal shape, I think draws your eye right into the middle, so it becomes a central composition. The land bisecting the image I think is actually really strong, and the shadows behind the child trees lend a real drama to the image. And then when we go up to the sky, that little bit of blue peeking out, when your eye goes up and looks at that blue, because it inevitably will, it actually draws your eye back down towards the parent tree. Overall, I think this is a really successful composition and really quite dramatic. Yeah, I like this one a lot. Good light too. All right, let's do the next one here. And yeah, so this one, actually, I didn't think this was going to come out. I was I couldn't see very well. I was very snowblind at this point. I spent almost 4 hours out in the sun and the snow without sunglasses, which is ridiculous. But I think overall, that tree separated enough from the background, which I didn't think it was going to do, but the sunlight coming down on it the way it is helped it to become separate. And then, of course, the elements, like your ground goes from bottom up to the right, and then your eye then flows over into the mountains, which goes from the right up to the left. And then the light, the patterning of the light draws your eye up to the sun, and then, of course, those God rays, the real mild God rays, I think, bring your eye back down. And then this great shadow on the snow from the tree really lends a sense of drama on this one. Yeah, I think this was a pretty successful image, and I love the snowflakes floating out in the air. I managed to catch those just perfectly. So that was a really lucky image. I really liked that. Okay, so this was the last image, and my vision wasn't working great on this one either. We had just a nifty little bit of sunlight shoot down just on these trees, which I thought was interesting. I kind of missed that opportunity, but we still have a little bit of it there. I also think what makes this successful is the central area of these particular oaks and how they held the snow better than most of the other trees around them. Of course, I brought that out a little bit, but not really much. I didn't really have to. Overall, this composition works. in a way that's like stratified. So you have all these different elements stacked one on the other. So that makes it successful, but I think it's also a little busy. The only thing saving it is that snow on the branches pulling your eye towards the center. Anyway, I think overall it's a neat image. I don't dislike it, but it's not as successful as some of the other images from today. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me and spending time listening to me go on about my images. And I hope to see you next week. Thanks again. Bye-bye.